Så det blir först då vad jag sa först. Kommer du ihåg det? Precision. Ja, du lyssnar vad jag säger i alla fall. Då ska vi se. Vad fan? Ja, där. Det här är ju precision på en helt annan nivå. Här är en papperskorg som jag hittat. Och här är ett äpple. Nu ska du gå med det här. Du har inte käkat något? Vad ska jag göra då? Ja, vad du ska göra. Du ska ju kasta. Det här är precision. Alltså publiken, nu får ni vara med här och hjälpa till. Ska vi kasta lite åt det här hållet så blir det bättre kamerabildsmässigt, tror jag. Och om du skulle träffa då i den här papperskorgen här. Ser ni papperskorgen, publik? Ja, det gör. Nej! Ja. Är publiken redo? Ja, du får backa. De ser ju inte. Sådär, nu. Annars ser ni på skärmen. Nu blir det bra. Nu, okej. Johan Holmström, precision. Aktiv. Det där hade jag inte rätt. Men det är en träff. Det är en träff. Snyggt, Holmström. Det var en liggträff, definitivt. Det såg jag. Men du, jag tycker det ser ut som vi måste skruva i alla fall några knäpp.
Number 44. It's 513.
Nice message. 25.
Нет, поправ. Нет. Обоим может.
Please take out the blind. Hej, hej.
58.
Расскажите тренерам, чтобы...
9-2. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
So, good.
Yeah. Do you want
Ska vi skriva över på ditt eller? Jag råkar markera.
Nej, inte det bästa jag har gjort. Nej, men det är bra. Då kan det bara bli bättre. Då gör vi så här. Nu är det... Har vi någon musik? DJ, jag har ju planterat låt i din spelare. Kan du sätta... Nu tänker jag så här. Jag håller in här. Och nu var det ju timing. Dålig timing på den här kartongen här. Så, och då är det planen att du då, Whitney Olsson sjunger We'll Always Love You. Då kommer det ju en till
Welcome back to Ostersund after a thrilling weekend of relays. The solo events begin with the classic. 15 kilometres split over 5 3K laps, 4 shooting stages alternating between prone and standing. New narratives to be written, new faces coming to the fore, and titles to be defended. Here's a look at the course for today here in Ostersund for this women's 15 kilometres individual. What a way to kick off the solo events. And a look at the weather, 3 degrees, and of course, as you can see on the wind flags there, predictably unpredictable, the range at Ostersund, but it always throws up the challenges, doesn't it? Alongside myself, Ellard, former USA biathlete and coach Chad Salmela. Chad, well, this is always one that's pinpointed on people's calendars, the first individual race of the season.
Yeah, you feel the tingles as you get into this. We've had the nice relay days, and I have to say, Ellen, that they used to often start with the whole season with an individual start, as we see Dieter Irwin from the United States getting ready to go out in bib 1. But I like the fact that they've moved the relays before it, because it gives everybody a chance to get the jitters out. I used to feel it was emotionally and mentally very straining to go into a 4 shooting stage, a race you don't do very often, and start the season with it. So I like that everybody's got a warm up and everybody's ready to roll it.
So a couple of names to keep an eye on through the early part of the start list. Of course, Marketa Davidova back, and it seems in very good form. We take a look through, Chad. Just give us a reminder of how the start order is decided, because that all changed at the start of last season. So this the second full season of these new start groups.
So essentially you take the 15 red group, which is the R on the start list. They are the 15 best athletes ranked from last season. And then you take the 15 blue group, which is the next group, so that gets you 30. And they'll give the red group the best seating at about 3/4 of the way back, and they'll put a one group of everybody outside the top 30 in order will then field in between each athlete every 30 seconds of the blue group and the red group. And what's left over after that, the top athletes that are left that aren't in that group go into the first 15 start spots, and everybody after that will follow the final seed group at the end and finish out the start order. So it's a little bit complicated, but basically they're giving the best start orders to the top athletes and not having too much traffic. Every 30 seconds, you get somebody a little bit slower on the skis between them, and it ends up working very, very smoothly for the competition.
And fundamentally, it keeps the excitement going for longer. Of course, one of the big reasons why this change came into play. We saw it flash up on the screen there, the red bib and the yellow bib. Franziska Preuss wearing yellow, of course, as last season's total score winner, and what a battle it was all the way to the end, with the red bib wearer today in Lou Jean Monod, just 20 points separating them. And watch out, it's a narrative that everyone is watching out for this year.
Yeah, and I think that the battle continues, but I think what's most exciting about this battle between these two athletes is the addition of Lisa Vitozzi of Italy, who was out most of the season with an injury. She tried to get on the season last year as she injured her back late in the fall, and she just never could recover. She's back in great form. She was great this summer on the roller ski competitions, and she should figure into this competition and challenge Jean Monod and Preuss as well.
Who are the other names that you're looking out for later on? I think one of the ones that springs to mind immediately for me, particularly on home snow, is Ella Halvorsen.
Absolutely. Ella Halvorsen has got a very short history in the sport, but she's done very well in this event. She's been on the podium twice in individual type events. She has a second place in the actual individual and in a short individual. So this is the kind of a surpriser event where Ella Halvorsen on home snow could surprise and really thrill the home crowd.
So, of course, this is a staggered start, and we'll flick back and forth between the range, the course, and the start gate, in which we find Deidre Owen of the USA. Well, what a weekend the USA have had. Of course, Chad, we know there's plenty out there watching on who, maybe even if they're not from the USA, have fallen in love with what this American team has to bring.
Yeah, and it took an American Kiwi to kind of help bring it all apart. But Campbell Wright has kind of inspired this sort of fun and non-pressure but focus to the U.S. team, and I think that it can't be understated that his presence on the team has really brought the level of the team up, just in belief in themselves with his sort of shoot from the hip style and relaxed approach to the sport. And I think that can be really helpful and really fun to watch. But the season's just getting started. Team USA is in good shape. They have done some thrilling things in the relay so far. And Deidre Irwin can keep that going from bib number 1 today.
Yep, she has a really strong history in this competition. 7th in this event in the Winter Olympics in Beijing in 2022. 2 career top 10 finishes. And this is an event that she loves to compete in. So it will be Deidre Owen of the USA who will get us underway in our first individual competition of the 25-26 season. The solo action begins here in Ostersund.
In so much development for Deidre Irwin since that 7th place 4 seasons ago in Beijing. She really was a surprise in that event. I think that she opened up her own eyes in that Olympic Games race to her potential in the sport, and that has really shaped her in the last 4 years.
Someone else who had some good results in this event is Kristina Dimitrenko of Ukraine. 8th in the individuals at the World Championships in Novo Mesto, and backed it up well last season even in Lenzerheide, where she's finished 11th in this event.
Yeah, she's the kind of athlete that if she can just get a slight bit faster on the skis, and she's relatively young, she's 26 years of age, she can get just a little bit quicker on the skis. She's such a good shooter in this event, has such a good track record in this event, that she could find herself near the top of the finish order.
Paradis of Canada not the start to the season that the Canadian team would have wanted in the relays, so plenty of talking to do on the skis. And well, sometimes that is the case, Chad. It just takes a couple of relay races, a couple of events on the World Cup for things to click for these teams.
Yeah, Paradis is also young. She's 23 years of age, and the Canadian team is just kind of in their rebuilding years. They lost Emma Lunder to their longtime leader and top performer to retirement last year. But 4 Canadians on the start order: Paradis in bib number 3, Nadia Moser in 35, Benita Pfeiffer in 82, and Shiloh Rousseau in 102 near the back of the field.
Well, we'll certainly be keeping eyes on bib number 4, Marketa Davidova of Czechia. Won the sprint in Contiolate at the start of last season, and so tragically her season ended far too early due to a back issue that required surgery. She tried to come back in Nove Mesto, I believe, and it didn't quite work. So cool time on the season then, but she's back and in good form. Here's Johansson of Norway, the first Norwegian that we'll see out on the skis.
Yeah, not a huge history for this Norwegian athlete, 26 years of age. 7 starts in her career. This is her 8th start on the World Cup, so just kind of getting her feet wet and taking the opportunity to maybe make her nation's Olympic team. So hard to make that Norwegian Olympic team, but things are a little more wide open than they used to be on the Norwegian women's team.
And the crowd watching on as Barbara Van Dikke takes to the course. And of course, Chad, this is an event where it sort of starts a bit slowly and then in the middle just becomes pure chaos with the storylines we're trying to watch for, who's coming into the range at which time. So I suppose at this point we should try and enjoy the peacefulness.
Yeah, I kind of like the way we roll into an individual race, just from a commentator standpoint, because it takes a little time to start cooking. But once it starts cooking, it cooks into a boil and things get exciting, and especially in those late shooting stages.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw a quick shot of Camille Benet wearing bib number 13, preparing to go. Last season's IBU Cup winner, and there is a word in there for that, Chad, because France until Hochfilzen will have 7 starters, and Germany will also have 7, of course, because of the World Cup winner Franziska Preuss.
Yeah, the French get it because of Benet, the woman you're pointing out, starting bib 13. She'll go out first for the 7 French athletes, and she is very experienced. She just doesn't have a lot of World Cup experience, just 13 starts for her World Cup career. But Benet also had a great finish in the relay where she struggled a little bit and then came back and sprinted ahead of the Germans to take the 3rd and final podium spot.
Someone else
confidence boost.
Yeah, someone else who had a good single mixed relay. Slettermark, her and her brother. This is Jukolek Astley Slettermark, the 24-year-old who's just made her way out onto the course. A really solid performance in Greenland. Exactly what they would want, of course, going into the Olympic season. Hlistova of Bulgaria next out of the gates. 2 top 20 finishes for the world champs in Lenzerheide in February. Looking to continue
she was
that
13th.
good form.
Yeah, Hristova was 13th in the individual at World Championships, and I was going to point out that the starter right before her best, Slettermark's best finish is at 21st in the individual as well. So a lot of individual high water marks for a lot of these athletes starting right now. Their best event is this event they're starting in right now.
Meyer of Switzerland next out of the gate. What is it about the individual that some athletes really just seem to enjoy, Tad?
Well, I think if we're looking at the Slettermark and Hristova as great examples, it gives an opportunity to the people who are stronger shooters and maybe not the strongest skiers. So if you look at the ski prowess of a Hristova, she's a +1 skier. When you look at the top athletes, their ranking as far as their percent to the rest of the field are -4, -5. So they're very literally minutes slower over 15 kilometers on the ski course. And the great equalizer is the minute penalty today in this individual event. That's why it's their best event.
Yep, of course, and we'll talk plenty about that when they do come into the range. A 1-minute penalty for the targets missed, and it is a real challenging part of this event as we see Marketa Davidova coming up to the 1.5 kilometre mark. It's Deidre Owen who leads the way at this point, but a very quick start from Marketa Davidova. Where will she find herself?
Looking very controlled, not looking frantic. This is a nice rhythm that Marketa Davidova is setting in this individual race. And the way I think the best approach to starting in individual races just to go out and ski the way you feel comfortable and see where you stack up at this first checkpoint against somebody you can measure yourself. Marketa Davidova, 6.7 seconds ahead of Dieter Irwin. That's going to feel comfortable for her, and it's a good time ahead of the American historically between the two athletes and how they perform on skis.
Well, Chad, we've obviously spoken about the challenges that she's faced coming back from injury. Of course, everyone will know the physical challenges, the hours of rehab, taking time away from the skis, time away from the range, obviously having to limit your expectations on what you can do. But the mental side as well, when you come back to racing, how much will she be adapting this season?
I think that she is experienced enough that she can find her rhythm pretty quickly. I don't think there's not going to be a sort of trial period for Davidova. I think she's going to go right back to the level she is. As long as her back is healthy and it's not bothering her, she's in a good position. And 6.7 seconds at this first time check at 1.5K over Dieter Irwin, that's pretty typical historically of Davidova's strength. The big thing is just keeping your head in it. And if you do start shooting well, to keep that momentum going through the entire race, once you've hit, if you hit 10 for 10, then the mental gymnastics start, and that's something that she hasn't done in a while because she had most of last year off.
So we're sixth of our biathletes through the 1.5 kilometre mark. It is Marketa Davidova who leads the way. Mette Gasperlein poised and ready to go. Well, she ended last season, of course, on a fairly big high, Chad, taking the gold medal in the single mixed relay in Pokljuka, and of course that's something that doesn't always come around for these Swiss athletes, the opportunity to take a really important medal like that.
No, and Gasperlein, who's been around for a long time, has a slew of World Cup starts, and to get that late medal after trying so hard for so many years, it was a feel-good moment for sure.
Someone on the hunt for feel-good moments, Julia Tannheimer.
I think this athlete, 20 years of age, she is just getting going. She's not, I don't think she has been quite the splash that I think the Germans had hoped she would be when they put her on the team, but she's definitely got a bright future now. Dieter Irwin laying down the first shooter on the range. First shot's a miss, and it's a costly miss, a minute. Oh, and that's the second minute, so not able to see the win flag at this point. So Irwin struggling, getting settled, and she does not know where she is. That's the worst feeling in the sport of biathlon, especially starting an individual where you feel like you're taking good shots, but you don't know where they're going. And Irwin has having the worst start of an individual that you can actually hope to have, or not hope to have. 5 straight, she gets the last shot, but she's gonna need some help now. And now you're struck with, like, what do you do with this race? You just have 4 minutes added to your time. Do you finish it? Do you keep pushing all the way through? Do you use it for training? That's something that Dieter's going to have to wrestle with and decide, maybe with a conversation on the side of the tracks with the coaches as the race goes on. But you can see the wind is howling. Yeah,
it's so brutal, the 1 minute penalty, particularly in conditions like we so regularly see in Ostersund. Same for Paradis, a first miss for her.
Well, Dimitrenko
waiting to go.
We didn't see the shooting of Dimitrenko, but she's clean, so no problem there. Pascal Paradis has 1 missed. So the shooting, maybe a cautionary tale to the rest of Dieter Irwin, but I'm not sure what happened there. I mean, so many things could happen. Somebody could have bumped your rifle after you zeroed it and maybe knocked your sights just a little bit off. Davidova with a miss as well now. But leading coming in by 14.3 seconds. It's a pretty big lead. And even with a miss, going to fall outside the lead, but be just into the second spot, 34 seconds back of Dimitrenko.
Well, I've had a fairly good look at the snow and the underfoot conditions now, Chad, as we see Vabornikova of Czechia preparing herself. We had some rain, just a slight bit over the course of the last 24 hours. What do you make of the underfoot conditions?
I think the track looks great. Anytime it's warmer than freezing outside, it's a challenge for the organizers. But conditions look solid. I mean, these are pros. They've done this World Cup opener so many times now. Ostersund is an absolutely great organizing committee. You expect I's dotted and T's to be crossed. But one thing you can't control is unruly wind that swirls in that stadium. Bendica's shooting through it. You see her hair being tussled by that wind. But as long as the wind is semi-consistent in direction, and we're not getting a real heavy wind graphic, as long as it's semi-consistent in a single direction, it's easy to hit the targets even through the wind. But if you look at the red wind flags down there, they're fluttering. They often flutter in contradicting directions, and it's hard for somebody like Dieter Irwin to make sense of it when she's missing.
And so out of shooting one comes by Bendica, and she will go into fourth. Serger now of Switzerland. Had a maiden World Cup podium in Ruhpolding in the individual event, and 2 other top 10 finishes last season. She was the highest ranked Swiss athlete in the total score competition.
Yes, at 25 years of age, she's in a great spot in her career. She's basically a middle of the field kind of skier, which is exactly what we were talking about. What kind of athlete makes this their best event? Amy Besarger is a perfect example. High shooting percentage, 88% shooting last year, and skiing middle of the field gets you on a podium on a good day.
Well, this does look like a quick start from Julia Tannheimer as she comes towards the 1.5 kilometer mark. As
See the
eyes
time
go back to
coming.
Yep, and 5.1 seconds. The lead of Tannheimer is Ella Halvorsen gets her race underway. Well, Chad, we were looking at Ella Halvorsen's statistics just before the race started, and it really is incredible her ratio of starts to podiums in this event. Yeah,
2 podiums and 3 individual starts. It's pretty great. She came onto the season last year, was on the podium in the short individual last year in Kontiolahti, which is a shorter event with less of a penalty, but still nonetheless akin to this event. Lucy Canterville come through 3.5 seconds back at Tannheimer. But Ella Halvorsen, I think she has to be considered a favorite here, especially being she's the only Swede who's had a podium finish on the women's side yet in these relays. The Swedish women's relays somewhat underperforming, but she got a win with her teammate Sebastian Samuelsson in the opening single mixed relay. So Halvorsen coming in with a great head of steam for the Swedes.
Someone else who's come in with a good head of steam, Mark Lottens. Perfect through shooting number 1, and will carry the lead coming out of this first shoot. 19.5 seconds her advantage over Dimitrenko. We have 4 athletes who have shot clean so far. Can Venla Lehtonen join them?
Got to miss. That's gonna be tough. Came in with a small lead. You see the 1.5 kilometer mark. Is leading out on the course. Came in 4.2 seconds back. So slowed it down. Still sustains a miss, and that's just not going to challenge for the win. But I think with the win we see, anybody who can come in and hit 20 for 20 has a great shot of winning, if not being on the podium, regardless of, unless you're minutes back skiing. So the wind creating an opportunity for some.
Here's Camille Benet. Perfect so far. Good rhythm to her shooting as well. That's 4 for 4. Can she make it 5? She does. A great start.
Came in just 1.6 seconds. If you look on the bottom where it says in, she is trailing Klutens, the current leader, after shooting 1 by just 1.6 seconds. Where will she stack up here? Nice lead by Benet now. 5.9 seconds over Klutens.
Gina Ermitz now down on the mat. Starts with a miss.
He's trailing by 13.6 seconds, and that miss is going to set it further back. Saw Lisa Vitozzi leaving the start area there. Starting relatively early.
For Ermitz, and that will be very costly. Yeah, like you said, Chad, an early start for Lisa Vitozzi. What do you want to see from her today?
I would like to see the form and the confidence that she carried in all the summer roller ski events that she did this year. She's very good at those events, but she's probably maybe, after watching her in both on snow and on roller skis, and we see Vanessa Voigt heading out on course for Germany, I think the big thing for Vitozzi is finding the form and the confidence, and maybe if she's not skiing as well as she's used to on roller skis compared to the field, still carrying that confidence into her shooting.
So in comes Tannheimer, a lead of 8 seconds.
Current leader is Benet. So a nice cushion of time for Tannheimer. 80% prone shooting average last season. Can't afford another miss if she wants to match that. One miss for her. One thing about Tannheimer, she's very quick on the trigger. She almost looks like she's jerking the trigger a little bit. It's a little surprising to see that last shot go down. She's very quick, and you can see almost a reaction before the recoil of the rifle. Here's Tannheimer now. Can she find this nice space in her head to relax and just be who she's been on the range in years past?
Just the one miss for Tannheimer.
Yeah, not perfect, but also a lot better than we've seen when things go awry. So Tannheimer off to a relatively good start. She's not going to lead coming out. She'll be in the eight. She'll be in the probably right around the top 10 coming through this time. Check out, she is 58 seconds back.
Well,
So
Anastasia
skiing well.
Kuzmina she was flying on the skis, Chad. Came in with a healthy lead and two misses, and those will be costly.
The one thing about Kuzmina, though, is watch for the Olympics. She's at 41 years of age. She is an absolute star. She's the only person to ever win sprint back-to-back Olympic games. It's a hard thing to do because it requires immense fitness. She was not this fit last year. You can see that she has trained. That year of training from her decision to come back to now is starting to pay off, and she's starting to look like her old self.
And now we have our first athlete into the first of the two standing shoots. Of course, alternating prone, standing for this individual. Marketa Davidova coming in as well. There's the first miss for Dimitrenko.
Oh, miss for Davidova in the breakout, too. You can just see how much the wind is messing with Davidova. Talk about inconsistent wind where it's blowing her start number up and down. It's just hard to hold the rifle and standing through that. Davidova now trying to take down the time of Dimitrenko. They both have two penalties. She's going to be well within that time, though. 48 seconds now. With the two misses, everybody in the start order can see what's going on. They know that there are misses at the front of the field, but at the same time, they know they're going to have to deal with that wind just like everybody else.
You can see there just how quickly Anastasia Kuzmina flew, particularly through the first 1.5 kilometres. That was a look at Johanna Skottheim, who's come through that point in fifth, but is 7.1 seconds behind the time of Kuzmina at that point.
Kuzmina is definitely the fastest of the early goers here. We'll see what Vitozzi can do against Kuzmina. Remember, Kuzmina has a huge pedigree, but 41 years of age and coming back from a long retirement. I was skeptical to see her form come back, but she's looking pretty solid. Now we'll see how that time holds up to the red group seed.
Well, when we talk about pace, look no further than Anna-Maria Lampic flying on the skis. And Chad, really important for her to secure that first podium in a four-stage suit race towards the end of last season.
Yeah, she's starting to get that consistency. The thing that I see with Lampic is still even at the end of last year, as things got better, her standing position still needs some stability. She still needs work on the actual fundamental hold of the rifle, because you can get a little bit lucky in calm conditions and hit shots. On a day like today, if you are not stable in the standing position, you're not going to hit a lot of targets in this wind.
So a brief look at Lisa Vitozzi. She's gone through 1.5 kilometres in third. Vela Urberg watching on. The first we'll see of her this weekend. Said she wasn't feeling 100% after a virus, so missed out on the two relays. Someone who didn't miss out on the relays and performed very well, Shvatova of Czechia.
Yeah, Kuzmina's time is for real. You see Vitozzi 4.2 seconds back. The fact that she was ahead of Tannheimer made me think that this was probably a pretty solid start for Kuzmina, as well as 5 seconds ahead of Tandrevold. So here is Ella Halvorsen now, but 15.9 seconds back of the leader after shooting one, Klemenchits.
Can make it up in the range. Starts well.
Almost a miss. You could hear the target barely fell, like a trip bullet. Settles down. Ensures the good hold. That is some really great shooting prowess and mental process. That was a great mental process. She heard that target almost not go down, and she adjusted. Great work.
Really had to hold her barrel still. Comes out of the first shooting stage in 7th. As Franziska Preuss prepares to get her solo season underway. The yellow bib pushing out of the gate. Our eyes are on Kristova of Bulgaria, who's 10 for 10 so far. A perfect day in the range. Where will this place her?
Oh, it's going to put her first, I think. This is a great start for Rostova. And this is exactly the kind of opportunity the individual opens on a windy day. Somebody like Laura Hristova, who is normally much slower on the skis than anybody ahead of her in the starter, and she's leading by 1 minute and 4 seconds with clean shooting after 2 stages. And Maya Klottens
also
goes
clean. Look at that, Maya Klottens.
And she's going to go better yet.
Yep.
She's going to drop.
Belgium will go into the lead. Schottheim in the prone position.
Good start for Schottheim. Came in 4.5 seconds off the pace of the leader, Klemencic. Polina Klemencic, the clean shooting Slovenian, your leader after shooting 1 right now. Schottheim won't get her. She'll be 6.8 seconds back, but 3rd place for Schottheim.
Michelle Monod beginning her race as well. Won't be too long before we see her round into the range for her first shooting stage. Dropping down into the prone position, though, is the 23-24 season total score winner, Lisa Vitozzi.
Comes in even with Klemencic. Polina Klemencic having a really great start to her season.
Yes, for Vitozzi. Steadies and gathers herself well, though, Chad.
Solid performance. Again, you know, she's still not going to take down the upstarts in the field because the shooting, the minute penalty is just too big. And if somebody gets lucky and just has a reasonable comes to the range 4 times with a reasonable shooting win, they can win the event. It's exciting to see the opportunities open for a lot of people as the big stars each miss shots in the first stage.
Well, coming in 5.7 seconds down on Klemencic is Vanessa Voigt, but she's good so far, 3 for 3. Well, she won't take the lead, but 5 for 5, and that's a very good start for the German.
If one person would have a lot of confidence in shooting 20 for 20 today, it's Vanessa Voigt in this situation. She's not really fast on the skis, but she's fast enough. She's not really fast on the shooting range, but she's fast enough, and she hits her targets.
Started last season so well, had to cut her season short. Mental and physical exhaustion, but back and in good form as we start this 15K individual. Anna Magnusson next in the prone position, coming in -3 seconds ahead of Klemencic.
Oh, there's a miss. Everybody, just one mistake. Too many one mistakes to take down the likes of Polina Klemencic, who is having, I must say, at this point, an amazing day on the skis. The Slovenian, normally just a midfield skier, but today might have a great pair of fast skis on her feet, and that could be helping her make the difference on the ski time.
Into shooting 2, where we find Tanja Rold, who's 5 for 5, and that's 9 out of 10 through the first half of this race.
That's a good confidence builder for her. She trailed coming in from the leaders 48.9 seconds. Now where will she be?
Suvi Minkkinen pushes out of the start gate. A really strong weekend on the skis for Finland as they finished in their best ever mixed relay position on Sunday evening.
Thunderfold clearly skiing well. She's the fastest of the people so far with a miss. She moves ahead of Lehtonen, who also has 9 for 10. Davida with 8 for 10 is 146 back. So Thunderbolt, there's no problem with her ski form. It's just all between the ears at this point for her.
Fialkova, perfect so far. She should take the lead.
Beating by just a half a second, a little over half a second over Klementis coming in.
And that will disappear.
Klementis actually started one bit behind her, so she just entered the range as well. Not seeing her in any shot. There she is in the breakout shot. Give 20 and 21 starting 30 seconds apart. Oh, Mr. Klementis. Still solid though. Oh, that's going to be the end of that high wire act by Polona Klementis. Flying high, but the two misses puts her back in the realm of most other people. But she is having a great day on the skis. There's no question about it. Drops into where she'll end up. He'll take
Sixth. Just, 1 minute 44 seconds behind. So our eyes from these early starters now on Camille Benet, leading the way through 7 kilometers. Here's Lou Jean Minot, 2.5 seconds down on the time of Anna-Maria Lampert, who has managed to ski faster through the first couple of kilometers than Anastasia Kuzmina.
Here's Lampert now. See the gap, 5.7 seconds faster into the range than the current leader Klementis. Because remember, Klementis has 2 misses in the second stage, so it really doesn't matter that much the time now that Klementis has set. But Anna-Maria Lampert, that was some nice, stable, prone shooting for the Slovenian. Maybe she's learning the sport of biathlon now in year 5.
Well, you really feel, looking at her performances towards the end of last season, you could see the growth there. It was evident. She's got a 1.5 second lead coming out of shooting 1 as she just rips off her bib number, causing us some problems. But it really showed a whole lot of maturity and step up at the end of last season, the way she was able to perform. Here's Amy Baserga coming in 2.4 seconds ahead of Camille Benet. Can she keep this moving? She's good so far. Will it be 5 for 5? And just a miss on the last, so that will put, around a minute back on the time of Camille Benet. Here's Anna Andeksen now.
You could see Baserga on that last shot, just rushed it. She was almost putting her rifle on before the shot was over. Almost wishing the shot would go down. On Andeksen's graphic, looks like Caroline Martin on the shooting range. And that's what gets hard for these television producers, is what do you follow? At any given time, there you got the split screen, Norton with a miss.
Andex is struggling. 3 minutes added to her time.
So that'll put the focus on Caroline Ufix, that not Norton now, just 25th place after the first shooting stage, and tells you how important it is to be clean on the day. Norwegian struggling at the first shooting stage with Lampert ahead of the leaderboard, Magnussen second for Sweden, and Kuzmina in third now after Benet in third.
Well, coming in 9 seconds behind the ski time round lap 1 of Anna-Maria Lampert is Franziska Preuss. The yellow bib, just her sights.
I love about that picture is you look at the confidence with which Preuss comes in, and she's a master of the range. She doesn't look like she's scared of the conditions. She looks like she's in control of the conditions. She's adjusting her sights to what she sees. And that is the kind of focus of a champion that makes champions, and she is mowing them down.
And that is shooting of a champion. 5 out of 5, what a way to start. Franziska Preuss, well, the first, of course, individual race that we've seen of her. The German women struggled in the relay. She'll go into 4th, 7 seconds down, but that shooting, well, it's back to where she was last season, Chad.
She's skiing a little bit off the pace, but she came in and she looked like she was in control of the situation. That is a thing in the first race of the season that is so hard to grab, is to come in and say, okay, you're a little nervous, you're not sure of yourself. It's Jean Minot doing the same thing. Look at her, look at the range. She's studying the range. And the people who struggled, she's thinking, calculating. Let's take some extra energy, and then she goes into the focus mode and see if she can knock these down. Did she make the right decision? And now she has to commit mentally and emotionally to that decision she made on those sight adjustments. It's great stuff we're seeing. Yeah.
And it's perfect from Lou Jean Monod, who's flying on the skis and is perfect through chute number 1, 5 out of 5, and really intelligently done.
And you see in the background, go time 2 misses, but Jean Monod still off the lead. But you know, she gave up some time, but that was critical decision making on her part.
And in for her first shoot stage, Hannah Öberg, who has flown into shooting 1.
We talked about it.
Ahead of Anna-Maria Lampic. Benet drops down for her second prone shoot.
We talked about how it was a slow start, but things are picking up now. It's hard to keep track of what's going on, but Benet is your leader going into stage 3 right now.
And she's perfect so far, as it's 2 misses for Hannah Öberg. She would have expected a lot more from that and will have to be perfect from here on in. Camille Benet, though, who is perfect, and she's 15 for 15, and she is flying. Excellent on the skis so far, perfect in the range with just 2 laps and 1 shooting stage to go.
This is great stuff. She's got Clutens from Belgium by, looks like it's going to be 22.7 seconds, and a big gap to Leftonen in third at minute 14. Those young athletes are just up at the front like Clutens and Benet. They just have to keep going and not wake themselves up. Just keep rolling. Subconsciously, don't think about the meaning of what's going on. But give a chance to take the lead, and she knows it, but the wind is messing with her. Resettles as Bryce Aboucher heads out on course. Boy, trying to keep it together through the wind. She knows. And she's paid, that one pays off. Look at the long shooting time and a miss.
Relatively
good shooting.
Yeah, 1 miss in the end for Vanessa Voigt, who was stuck there for quite some time. It's a miss for Oceane Michelon, the reigning blue bib, who is just coming out of shooting 1, so that will drop her down to 33rd. 1 minute 9 seconds off the pace. Plenty of work for her to do now on the skis, but we know just how quick she can be.
Here's Tendervold now with a nice ski time, 34 seconds back of the leaders. With a miss, though, so that means she's given up a minute. She's flying on the skis compared to Clutens and Benet.
Lincoln into the range as well. Good start for the Finn. There's the miss. Well, talk about recovery, Chad. 14 out of 15. Ingrid Landmark-Tendervold is, showing signs that she is getting back to her best in the range after a really challenging weekend in the relays. She finds herself in third, 39.8 seconds behind, but just 1 miss through 3 shooting stages.
This is just what the doctor ordered for Tendervold. She's got to let herself off the hook emotionally just a little bit for all the stress she puts on herself. It's fun to see her in her groove and remembering that she knows how to do this sport. Sometimes it's such a simple solution when you're down in the doldrums like she has been, but still going to be a lot of pressure on that last shooting stage as the lead drops too.
Here's Jeanne Richard, the first time we're seeing her into the range. She comes in 10 seconds behind the pace of the leader Lampic.
Shooting relatively quickly too. In this windy conditions, she is very focused.
5 for 5. Good start from Richard. Drops in at 6th, so just inside 10 seconds behind the leader Lampic. Fraction in front of her teammate Jean Monod.
Richard, really, the limiting factor for her is just she's got to develop just a little bit more ski speed, and that can happen over the time, over the course of her career. As we now go to Selena Grotjean and Lampic. Lampic clean through the first shooting stage and leading by 30.9 seconds now over Benet. But this is the telling moment. How has her standing position developed? Her control on the trigger squeeze in this wind, and she's just shooting through it. Grotjean also with a miss.
3 misses for Lampic, and that will drop her right down the order after a promising start.
In an individual like this, you can fake it in prone because you have the stability, but when the wind is this heavy on the shooting range, you can't fake it in standing, and that was an example of it right there where Lampic just doesn't have the experience or the type of focus you need to hit 5 shots in that kind of wind from the standing position.
Well, could we have a new leader here coming in? 0.5 of a second ahead of Lampic is Ellard, who we're seeing for the first time in the range this season. Starts with a miss though.
Has never won an individual competition in her career on the World Cup. Not bad, but if she can go hit every shot from here on out, she could win her first, but that one miss already puts the pressure on her.
Justine Bressard-Boucher through 1.5 kilometers ahead of Hannah Öberg.
Before any shooting, Bressard-Boucher setting the fastest time at 1.5K. Not terribly surprising. But she looks good, very crisp on her pushes. I thought she looked a little bit lethargic in the relay competitions this weekend and thought she may be skiing herself into shape. Here's Lisa Theresa Hauser now. Four for 5 seems to be the going rate of anybody with a marquee name so far today, except for Preuss.
Yep, this is shooting 2 for Franziska Preuss, who leads by 9 seconds. Starts with a miss though, and there's 2 now for the yellow bib. Well, Chad, just how costly will those 2 misses be, do you think?
Pretty darn costly, unless Benet, some of these younger early starters, I think they have a shot to win this race right now. If you're through 3 stages like Benet and you're clean, if you can hold it clean or even just to 1, there are so many misses from the faster skiers and more experienced athletes behind her that the opportunity is there to win now. And Benet just can't think about it. She's started early in the start order, and that is the way you can sneak your first win or your first podium of your career on the World Cup. Is just fly under the radar and nail them on a day where everybody else is having trouble hitting their shots.
That's something that Hannah Halvorsen knows a lot about. She's just come into the shooting range as Lou Jean-Monod starts her second shoot of 4.
We're not getting any wind graphics, but just watching the hair on Jean-Monod's head, this is about the best shootings for a standing stage that I've seen yet. And she takes advantage of it, shooting clean through a small break in the wind, and she maximizes her opportunity. Jean-Monod will go into the lead, most likely over her teammate Benet.
Yep, no doubt about that. We will have a new leader, and it will be Lou Jean-Monod by 16.7 seconds.
Whoa.
An excellent shooting stage so far, and she just looks completely dialed in, Chad.
Absolutely, and you have to. This is biathlon. You don't always get the same conditions no matter who you are, and the wind comes and goes, and you can see that it died down. Still looks pretty solid now for this the second shooting from Lisa Vitozzi, or third shooting from Lisa Vitozzi. She's got 1 miss on the day and can challenge, but that miss just about dashes all of her hopes, knowing Jean-Monod has 2 clean stages already.
And just the 1 miss for Maya Clottens, so 19 out of 20 for her as 2 more dropped by Lisa Vitozzi. Here's our early leader, Camille Benet. Her final shooting stage, just 5 more targets.
Clottens has gone clean.
Starts with a miss though, Camille Benet. And she will match Maya Clottens with just 1 miss, 19 out of 20 on the day for the Frenchwoman and the Belgian, but the advantage going the way of Camille Benet as we take a look at the shooting of Justine Bressard-Boucher coming in 10 seconds in the lead, but 1 miss will put, just around a minute off the pace coming out of shooting 1.
Well, as Bennett goes through the time check at 4, after the 4 shooting stage, she supplants Clotens. As we watch Brassard Boucher, 29th, and Océane Michelin has 1 miss to her second shooting stage.
And now another miss for Océane Michelin. Trying to steady herself, and it will be around the 2-minute mark in which she leaves shooting 2.
Bennett has done a good job. She leads by 25 seconds after the final shooting stage with 19 for 20. And that might do it. We might be looking at the podium finishers there with everybody, all the big names really having a miss except for Lou Jean Minot has the door open to her. And she's lucky with that clean shooting.
Anna Magnusson with just 1 miss so far, shooting 3, her final prone shoot. And we will have a challenger here in Anna Magnusson, who is 14 out of 15, 1 shoot stage to go.
I like the look of that shooting. That was one of confidence. Tandervold now on the range with her second miss. Can she hold it together? It starts to unravel ever so slightly, but she pulls one back. A solid performance, a nice move back after a very frustrating relay experience. Probably not going to win or get a medal today with that performance of 3 misses, but it's a little bit of a stopgap in the unraveling of her shooting woes on the shooting range. I like this performance, even though it's probably not going to wind up on the podium. .91 seconds down, she comes across and out of shooting 4 in 3rd. Miss for Jean Richard, that's her first miss of the day. Still in it with 9 for 10, no doubt about it. Not going to be leading at this point, but if she can keep it clean through the next 2 shooting stages, Jean Richard still trying to get her first career podium. She has 1. She's her second career podium. She was 3rd in the Master last season. Look at here, Sonia Leinamo, a fast skier from Finland who is historically not a terribly strong shooter.
10 out of 10 for the woman wearing bib 55. Has one top 10 finish. That was in the sprint where she finished 8th in Oberhof last season. And that will put her into 2nd, 10.3 seconds behind the leader, Lou Jean Minot, and ahead of Camille Benet and Maya Clotens at this point.
If you wonder why the individual is interesting, you're seeing it unfold in front of you, because the opportunities just open up for somebody like Leinamo, who is a strong skier. She's got a -3 ski record in the IBU percentage of ski speed, and that's pretty quick, but she is only an 80% shooter. Leinamo historically.
Shooting 2 for Elvira Urberg. Another miss. Limits it to just the 1 though.
And this is the way the individual is for these superstars who have never won one like Elvira Urberg. You just have to be so precise and perfect mentally for so many shots. It's a very different kind of race than a mass start or a head-to-head pursuit race. You're on the range yourself.
Perfect mentally so far. Lena
yes.
Lepinch of Slovenia, 15 out of 15, cool, calm and collected, and will fall around 30, maybe 35 seconds outside the time of Camille Benet. Into 2nd or 3rd she'll go, just in front of Ingrid Landmark-Tandervold.
That's a good performance. The Slovenians are throwing everything at the front order. Some melting down later in the start order, but all started out with the early starter for the Slovenians, Klemencic, going clean from the prone and skiing very quickly. Eve Becerra, 18 for 20. Solid shooting performance for her. But opening up time, 43 seconds between Benet and Becerra for third. One would expect some athletes in this field of 106 starters to come in and fill in that time gap of 43 seconds and push Becerra off the podium. So now the story really becomes Lou Jean Monod, who has shot just 2 times and has been clean twice.
Well, she started last season ever so strongly, didn't she? Lou Jean Monod winning the short individual in Consigliere, looking to replicate that as she goes on the charge. But what she wants, and that is the bib that's currently on the chest of Franziska Preuss, but she has dropped 2 in her first standing shoot, dropping now back into the prone position for this penultimate shoot.
Well, we can say whoever ends up on the top of the podium, they have earned it today. This shooting range is creating a classic. Preuss feeling like she lost control of that shot, adjusts the sights again. Maybe feeling just a little bit disoriented with the wind. Drops 1 of 10 shots from the prone position, but she's missed 2 of 5 from standing as Preuss, the World Cup overall leader. But here, this could be your winner or your podium finisher.
Well, it could be, and it would if it does stand to be a maiden podium for Maja Klottens. Her best finish was 8th in Lenzerheide in the sprint at the World Championship. She's given it all today, 19 out of 20. A brilliant day from the Belgian, who's across the line with a 2-minute advantage at this point. Lou Jean Monod's looking to cut that and take the victory herself. She has 1 miss now in the prone position, but a brilliant day on the skis for Maja Klottens as we wait for Camille Benet. Now, where is she? We are all eyes on the finish line as round the corner she comes. Camille Benet, well, she will take top spot. And will it be a first podium for the Frenchwoman who had to battle through the single mixed relay at the weekend? She's across the line, 29.3 seconds ahead of Maja Klottens. And could we be looking at a maiden podium or even victory for Camille Benet today?
We could. I think it's a very, very distinct possibility. If Jean Monod can hold together and clean the final stage, that might be tough for Benet to hold off. But finally, Vitozzi gets a clean stage again. She's perfect from the standing position, which is surprising. 3 misses from the prone in this very windy day. That's great standing shooting for Vitozzi. She's just thinking, if I could just held the prone together, I would have a victory today. Trailing by just a minute with 2 more penalties than Benet, so she's quite a bit faster than the Frenchwoman in the lead. But this is the individual. You've got to hit the shots.
Well, 2 clean stages for Ingrid Landmark-Tandeveld, Chad, and as you mentioned there, of course, with Lisa Vitozzi, those 2 clean stages will be something that Ingrid Landmark-Tandeveld can really cling on to going into the rest of this week.
Yeah, when you're having trouble like she's on the range, and every biathlete hits that point. I mean, even Sturla Holm Lagreit has had hiccups in his shooting as good as it's been over his career. Ingrid Landmark-Tandeveld has famously had a bunch of mental battles with herself over the last couple of years. And it comes and goes, as did her best friend and teammate, I'm drawing a blank, Tyrell Eckhoff. But, you know, there's always another day. There's always a chance to find out, because ultimately you know how to do this sport. And Ingrid Landmark-Tandeveld does know how to do this sport, and she proved it again today. It's not going to be a podium, but a nice step forward. Well, it's podium for now, it looks like, but we'll see if it can hold up.
Yeah, it will certainly be enough for third for now, but just how long will that stand for? Always such a tricky position coming across the line in third, and now the nervy wait, and she'll know the level of athlete who are chasing her further down the road. But across the line in third for now, Ingrid Landmark-Tandeveld. Clear signs of improvement as we go back to the range and a final shooting stage for Vanessa Voigt.
Boy, 2 penalties and 2:32 back, and really taking her time on the range. Magnuson started a minute behind her and has caught her on the range on the ski course. Magnuson also with a chance here. Shooting 4.
Having to recompose herself, and it's always a challenge, isn't it? Vanessa Voigt looks away from the side, replaces the rifle on her shoulder. There's Anna Magnusson flying, 3 for 3. There's a miss on the fourth. Can she take down the fifth? Just one dropped on this final stage for Anna Magnusson, who's away before Vanessa Voigt can even take her first shot, and even then it's a miss for the German.
Voigt trying to hold it together, but it's just taking too long. Magnusson comes through in fourth, 54 seconds back, but 11 seconds down to Beserga in third. I think Magnusson could move herself onto the podium in the third spot with a good ski lap.
Well, resettling now for the second time. Vanessa Voigt gets her second shot away, and it does hit the target.
Oh, it's painful to watch when you're stuck in this mode where you don't want to let the shot fly, just because it's so windy.
Another goes down.
But she knows it's minutes. The other opportunity is losing minutes, and she goes 4 for 5. It's a long shooting stage, but it pays off in the end.
Jan Richard, second prone shoot. Well, this is very good indeed. Can she make it 5? 14 out of 15 for Jan Richard. 1 shoot stage to go, 2 more laps. Finds herself in a good position. Takes a look to one side. She'll drop into 7th, 49.8 seconds behind the time of her teammate Benet, as we take a look at the shooting and the first and second shot of Sonja Leinamo of Finland. Flying so far. Look at the time she's come into the range at. There's the first miss, but it won't drop her too far out of contention. Needs to be perfect on this final shoot now.
She's fast enough to do it if she can. She's skiing really well. 4 straight misses from Lampic. Clean from the prone. Hits 3, she's standing 13 for 20 on the day. All her hits coming from the prone.
Well, you can see the challenges there on her face as she looked away. As Amy Beserga coming into the finishing straight, will round the corner and into the stadium. Should see herself go into the bronze medal position, which will push Ingrid Landmark-Tandevold down. Unable really to challenge Maya Klottens and indeed Camille Benet. But a good day on the skis for Amy Beserga. 18 out of 20 in the range and will be third as things stand.
Beserga's getting a challenge on the course though. The last 3 kilometer loop by Lisa Vitozzi, who left the shooting range a good 17 seconds back, and now just 10 seconds back at the first time check. So Vitozzi charging for the third and final podium spot. To go back to the range with Lena Repinch, creating a little bit of a sensation, the Slovenian.
Well, 41.8 seconds behind the time of Camille Benet, but she is clean. 1 final shoot stage to go. Can she hit these 5? Starts with a miss. Well, 18 out of 20, Chad, and that is still an incredibly solid performance.
Absolutely. She's not going to find herself on the podium. I didn't expect her to pull that one off with the wind that we've seen, but it was a relatively calm shooting situation from what I can tell. And but a great performance for Lena Repinch. Bib 39, she's starting kind of mid-early pack. Her current World Cup best is at 18th position. She's been above that most of the race. And she'll come through in 7th, so this would be a personal best by about 10 spots if she can hang on to this.
Watching the standing shoot, the first standing shoot of Hannah Ockenthaler, perfect so far. Going for 10 out of 10 and just dropping the last.
I was going to say, don't wrap up those podium spots just yet. We have a charging Hannah Ockenthaler from Bib 76, probably the last credible threat in the start order to a podium finish. Although today anything could happen. We're seeing lots of names like Leinamo near the front of the order, just with a great performance.
Vitozzi rounds the corner, challenging the pace of Beserga.
She made some time on Beserga in the first time check, but then lost to that time back. She's back to 14 seconds back of Beserga. I think Beserga's in a safe position in third compared to Vitozzi. It's going to have to come from somebody else, like Lou Jean Monod.
Well, Lou Jean Monod is the biathlete who we have eyes on to try and push. Camille Benet out of top spot, and she won't be long until she arrives in the range for shooting for Lou Jean-Minot.
We're just looking at the splits in the fourth loop. Jean-Minot and Benet are running about even. Jean-Minot not making any time at any time check. They're staying even at about 20 seconds back. Jean-Minot in arrears to Benet. Benet was clean through the fourth shooting stage, but missed one in the final. So still an opportunity for Jean-Minot to take it, and she's on the range now.
Yep, as Lisa Vitozzi across the line, it won't be a podium return for the first time of asking. Lou Jean-Minot, second miss of the day.
If she can hit these two, she can still ski that time off of Benet, though.
Yep, and she'll need to.
What's the gap? This is the
Keep
story
your eyes
for the win.
on the time here as we look at the shooting of Hannah Urberg. And keep a close watch on the time of Lou Jean-Minot. One more lap, and well, Chad, that gap is getting bigger and bigger. She's over the time check and out of shooting 4 in third, 26.9 seconds down, and that is going to be a hard gap to close.
It is 3 kilometers. It's the longest ski loop they'll ever do in any event in biathlon. It gives Jean-Minot a strong skier. If she's in the shape she needs to be this early in the season to take down that time. But that's a big gap. And Hannah Urberg throws her hat in the ring with 3 misses. She's absolutely flying on the skis. 4th place with 3 minutes of penalties, 42 seconds back. Hannah Urberg might be the one looking for the podium spot the way she's skiing.
Nina Hedrich-Volz. Found form in her last visit to the range. Can she continue it? It's hit with her first bullet and the second.
Solid performance. She's skiing well. Four missed shots and still in the top 10. Here's Magnussen now to the finish. After Jean-Minot and Hannah Urberg came through, Magnussen had dropped from 4th to 6th. 54.9 seconds back. Trying to catch Baserga. At the last time check, it was 12 seconds to Baserga. I think it's a little too much to ask. Yeah, Baserga's time's going to come and go.
Can she sandwich herself ahead of Lisa Vitozzi? Magnussen up to the line, 18 out of 20 in the range, skips over the line. Not quite enough for a medal today. Alan Chikada. 2 misses, 1 more shooting stage to go.
Amazing how when it's windy like this, the shooting times start to really not matter quite as much, but in the end, it all matters. And when you get to the finish line, you're not really concentrating on how long it's taking these athletes to hit or miss their shots. Minkinen misses another 2 for Finland. But the metrics of what going into the best race today really skewed when you're watching it in real time as to where the time is being made or lost.
A really challenging day in the range for Suvi Minkinen. Find herself just outside the top 10. Would have hoped for certainly more than that after a breakthrough season last term. Here's Lotte Lee pushing for a top 10 finish herself in some exceptional form through the early season races on roller skis and of course the season openers. And it is her teammate who is currently occupying the silver medal position. 3 misses in the range, fighting all the way to the line, Lotte Lee of Belgium. And she will cross the line in 7th.
Well, Ellen, the names Benet and Klutens were not really on the top of our list today, but that just shows you why this individual event is so great to the sport. It keeps people's chances of doing something special for their career open.
Well, could we have a
I love
chance
it.
of something special here? A miss for Jean Richard. And that's 2, and that puts her out of the picture. Well, it looked for a moment like she really could challenge those at the top at the minute. Anna Gandler across the line. She will hold 8th position for now. We're still waiting on the arrival, of course, of Lou Jean-Monod and Hannah Erberg, who are flying around the final lap. As things stand, Lou Jean-Monod in 3rd, Hannah Erberg in 4th. Will those 2 early times of Camille Benet and Maya Clotten stand? If so, well, what a day it would be for Camille Benet.
Benet right now just the 14th fastest course time of people across the finish line. You see Leinamo from Finland has the first 4 shots of her final shooting stage. She could find herself in it, and she's going to go 19 for 20. Leinamo now we have to watch as we see Jean-Monod come through in 2nd at halfway around the last loop.
Well, it was all changing in the medal positions and coming out of shooting 4. Sonja Leinamo will lead by 15.2 seconds. This is a huge performance from the Finn.
And this is her strength. She is a strong skier. If you can't tell by her body language, this is her one chance to catapult her name to the top of the world order. And she is in great control to do it. 19 for 20 for Leinamo. Sensational shooting performance.
Well, we're potentially looking at a podium full of debutants on the podium. Salmela Erberg drops 1 on the last, and she's now over 60 seconds outside of the time of the leader Leinamo. And the frustration felt by the whole team there.
Sonja Leinamo getting just her, she's 23 years of age, just getting her 9th start in World Cup competition. An 86% shooter, or 82% shooter by reputation. And she may take the win today for Finland. Oh yeah, wrong statistic there. Yeah, 39th start. I was looking at the person below her. So Leinamo actually is her 39th start. She's a little more seasoned than 8th, but still nonetheless an amazing storyline in this competition.
And all the drama could still be played out as Lou Jean-Monod battling with Hannah Erberg just over her shoulder. The Swedish coaches chasing on as they push around these final couple of bends. Hannah Erberg goes into 4th. 27 seconds behind the time of Camille Benet. And Lou Jean-Monod is 21.9 seconds down. Well, Chad, we called it as they came out the range. This was always going to be a hard gap to close.
Yeah, I could tell that Jean-Monod was probably going to get Cloten's just 2 seconds back, but it's too much for the win. I think Benet is clear and clean. Going to get outskied by Jean-Monod, but not by enough to lose the actual biathlon competition.
So up towards the finish line comes Lou Jean-Monod, the red bib, who will be handing it over. But whose shoulders will it land on? Could it be the teammate Camille Benet, who has burst onto the World Cup scene today? Across the line comes Lou Jean-Monod in 2nd. She pushes Maya Clottens down, and Clottens is pushed off the podium. Hannah Erberg rallying in the final stages. She's in 3rd for now, but all eyes on Sonja Leinamo. The order could still very much change.
If you don't know what just happened there, Hannah Erberg started a minute behind Jean-Monod and almost caught her. So Jean-Monod moves into 2nd, and Hannah Erberg bumps Clottens off of her maiden podium by just 4 seconds.
Well, here is Dorothea Vera, one of our later starters, wearing bib 64. We haven't seen much of her today. 2 misses through the first 2 stages, but she's going exceptionally well on the last.
Don't count her out. Dorothea Vera, we've seen that she's in good fitness early season, but how far back will it be and how much depth, how much reserve does she have in her physically for 3 more kilometers to topple the people that are? Dorothea Vera drops into 2nd place.
Well, this is a huge rally from Dorothea Vera, 9.3 seconds behind the time of Leinamo. Hetic vaults over the line in 11th, just outside of the top 10. And a welcome return to the World Cup circuit in terms of solo races. All eyes now on Sonja Leinamo as she comes towards the 13.5 kilometre mark. We haven't had a Finnish woman atop the podium since the 12th of January 2020 in Oberhof. Could we see that change today? She is absolutely flying. She has challenges from behind, but of course all eyes looking forward.
She's laboring now, but it's still enough. She's still keeping the gap she had from the first shooting stage. Leinamo digging deep. 22.1 seconds the gap. But Vera was lurking just 9.3 seconds back, and Vera skied the fourth loop quite a bit faster than Leinamo. So going into that last shooting stage, just trying to watch the trajectory of the ski speed. The course time on lap 4 has Vera, I'm trying to figure it out here, Vera skied that lap 9 seconds faster than Leinamo in the last lap. So we have some drama with Leinamo skiing off the front, but Vera could close her down and take the victory yet.
We have a real battle from behind. Into 10th goes Suvi Minkkinen, who will have just a couple of moments to gasp for air before she turns around and sees her teammate come across the line for what could be a historic day in the history of Finnish biathlon. We saw a very happy Erik Tornes Kolstad, the shooting coach, who has really redeveloped the way that these Finnish athletes are shooting and are training and are working, and it is going ever so well for them from the start of last season through to now. And could we have a Finnish woman back atop the podium? The weight is on, the nervy weight. You can see it on the face of Tornes Kolstad.
Sonja Leinamo has put 7 seconds on Bene since the shooting stage. But the big question is what is she going to do against Vera, who was 9.3 seconds back and starting in bib 64 behind Leinamo by about 4 minutes. So Leinamo really right now probably racing Vera for the victory. Vera's still further back on this last of 3 kilometer loops. What an opportunity.
Yep, a huge opportunity. All eyes on the time. Half a kilometre left to ski. 12.6 seconds is the advantage for Sonja Leinamo.
And she doesn't have much left. She is just trying to find power wherever she can as Jean Richard comes across the line into 9th spot. But this is one of those times where you just can't get to the finish line fast enough if you're Sonja Leinamo.
But she is flying and she's giving it absolutely everything. 19 out of 20 on the range. She'll round this corner and she'll be into the stadium. Stay steady on her skis. The wait is almost over. Into the stadium comes Sonja Leinamo. She'll have Dorothea Vera behind her, but she will go top. There's no doubt about that. A historic day for Finnish biathlon. Will it be topped off by a gold medal? Across the line she comes, welcomed home by her teammate Suvi Minkkinen. New ground broken for Sonja Leinamo. 8.1 seconds her advantage over Camille Bene. And now the emotion flows out.
She gave up most of her lead, though. She really suffered that lead. She takes the lead by 8.1 seconds, but she had 20. She started with 15, grew it to 22, and dropped it back to 8 as Ellard comes across the line with 3 misses in 7th. That's, I should say, Elvira Ellard.
So here we go, back to the chase and the 13.5 kilometre mark where Dorothea Vera finds herself 9.4 seconds behind the time of the leader, Sonja Leinamo. What a return to the individual action this has been here in Ostersund.
She's lost 1/10 of a second to Leinamo, so she's not taking any time out of her for sure. Skiing about even, but remember, Leinamo really struggled in the last kilometer and a half and dropped a lot of time comparatively to Bene and Jean Monod. It's not over yet, but Sonja Leinamo, the Finn, just 23 years of age, has just shocked herself and the world of biathlon.
She hasn't even hit 40 World Cup starts yet. When you compare that, of course, to the tallies, the number, the medals, the experience of Dorothea Vera, who is on the charge here. Keep your eyes on the time as we come to 14.5 kilometres. We've got a little bit of a way to go before we get to that time check, but that will be the all-telling time check. Everything is being given by Dorothea Viera, the experienced head, and of course her coaches who sprint along, encouraging her beside her.
What an amazing storyline that has transpired here today in Ostersund. And if you thought the 20 or the 15 kilometer individual was a boring race, well, you just got a sweet experience today.
Well, it's a classic, and it's a classic for a reason, and this is why. The oldest race in the books, and well, the drama, well, enough to write a book about today. Dorothea Viera coming towards the 14.5 kilometer mark. The clock is ticking down. Half a kilometer to go.
Time of Leinamo is coming, and it's going to go, but it's going to be close. 2.1
seconds. Dorothea Viera will need to give everything towards the line.
And what a performance for her to go into her home Olympics on her home course, right outside, just a kilometer or two up the road from her home. The Olympic Games will transpire, and she'll hit those games. A veteran in the sport, trying to get another win today.
Well, she has history on this course. Dorothea Viera won here in the 22-23 season in this event. 5 victories she has in Ostersund. 15 seconds to get to the line.
Don't think she's going to do it. It's going to be very tight.
Keep your eyes on the time. Gritted teeth for Dorothea Viera. It will be very close. It's going to be ever so close. Dorothea Viera across the line. And she does it. 0.3 of a second. And Dorothea Viera will win here in Ostersund once again. The smallest of margins.
Dorothea Viera denies Leinamo her first victory. Finns are still very happy, of course. But that woman just took her 17th World Cup win of her career. And her 7th individual win in the discipline. She is a master, and she's back.
And her 6th win here in Ostersund. She loves to race on these tracks. Well, a penny for the thoughts of Sonja Leinamo, who has just been beaten by one of the best to ever do it in Dorothea Viera by 0.3 of a second. A spectacular day of racing here in Ostersund. New ground broken for the Finns, who just go from strength to strength to strength. A maiden podium. She was hoping for a gold, but well, the drama that was delivered, it doesn't get much better than that. In an Olympic season, well, the storylines are already there to be printed. Dorothea Viera takes victory here in Ostersund in the most spectacular of fashions.
What did you shoot? 2. I'm happy to be able to race.
Incredible. Viera with shooting and ski time together has the same number of penalties as Jean Monod, but beat her by 31.3 seconds. And it's not a ski speed thing. This is all about being spectacular at every little minute detail of an individual competition that you can throw down on a windy day to find the time to win. And like cat-like reflexes, Viera knows how to do this as well as anyone maybe ever in the sport. Almost apologizing for the good fortune that she seems to have. But you just saw one of the greatest biathletes of all time in a discipline do what they do in the toughest of conditions at the end of her career, and it gives me goosebumps.
Well, there are the intermediate results, and they are results that will stand. Dorothea Viera takes victory in Ostersund once again. Her last victory was here in the mass start, and that was the 22-23 season, where she also took the victory in the individual, and of course in Antholz on home snow that season as well, took sprint victory. In Antholz this season, will she take a home victory once again? If she does, it will of course result in an Olympic medal, and what a dream end to the career of one of the greatest to ever do it and a legend of the sport that would be. Malin Chikaida across the line in 12th. Well, Chad, what a day, what an evening of action this has been. Truly spectacular, and of course we have to give a really big word to the work of the Finnish team and everything that they have done. We were lucky enough to be around them in Onsila Grombonar last season, and you really got the vibe there that they were on the right trajectory.
Yeah, just look at the leaderboard right now. The Finnish women's team is sitting in 2nd, 15th, 25th, and 28th. That is absolutely ringing the bell. And you got to hand it to their new coach from Norway last year. Just kind of changing the tone, and you could feel it there. Like you said, we could feel it in the hotel when we watched them eat dinner, and there was a lightness to the team, and it's allowing them to perform at an amazing level. And Leinamo, she loses by 0.3 of a second, the closest of margins, but that will give her a lot of confidence in her young career. She's just 23 years of age and just getting started. A nice shot of bib 97 there for the United States. That was Shauna Pendy.
Well, you can try and claim her, but she's actually British. I'll
British,
take
yeah.
that one for you, Chad. Of course, their bib number 97, Shauna Pendry, actually made her debut when we were in Onsila Grombonar. And, well, it's great to see two British women on the start list today, her and Chloe Dupont, who's actually making her first solo start of a World Cup, having stood on the start line for three races at the World Championships in Lenzerheide. And well, we may be a couple of steps behind you at this point, Chad, in the USA, but great to see the Brits back out there.
That's great. Yeah, I just love it when they get the chance to prove what they can do. I thought Anamaka might pull this off here, but she's being frozen by the wind. Look at the wind graphic. It's 19 kilometers an hour going left to right. It's just such a hard thing to shoot through. It's next to impossible. That she hits a couple shots through it, so that's great. But when it's windy like that, you actually have to hold against the wind. You almost have to like lean into the wind and have the target at 98% of being pulled, and then just let that other one almost subconsciously let the shot go. And it's an immensely hard thing to do, to shoot in a hot, heavy wind from the standing position, especially when it's coming from the side. And to have that dexterity of being tired after 12 kilometers of ski racing, and to feel that trigger to that extent, it's asking a lot of the human body and the human mind to hit shots through that kind of conditions. A nice shot of Sonja Leinamo. Just to put it in perspective, her best finish prior to today was in 8th place in Oberhof last year in the sprint competition. And then besides that, her next two are 27th and 29th. Second place is quite a jump forward from those statistics.
It's a huge jump. And Chad, also, it's certainly worth saying that 8th place, a sprint in Oberhof, she's just completed and taken the silver medal in the individual competition in Ostersund, a notoriously incredibly difficult course in terms of the course, but also the range as well, only missing once. And well, great to see they're just falling out to the top 10 today. Ingrid Landmark-Tandevold embracing the young Sonja Leinamo, who well, has etched her name into history today.
Yeah, that was,
well, that's lovely, isn't it? The Italian team and the Finns embracing each other. And, well, it's also testament, Chad. You look at, of course, Erik Tornøs Kolstad usually stood there by himself for both the men's and the women's races. You look at the pack of Italian coaches that were there. This is Finland, a nation that they're not always up there in terms of the numbers of representation.
Absolutely, and I think that there's sort of a, they're a smaller program, even though Finland has always loved biathlon and cross-country skiing. Has always been a little bit more like Norway, a little bit more of a cross-country focus in the sport in the country of Finland. But what's interesting is the actual coach of the Italian team, the shooting coach, is Joni Kähkönen, who was a Finn, and so he's probably feeling pretty good about the 1-2 by 0.3 of a second. But his own athlete that he coaches got the win, and that's probably going to make him the most happy.
Well, excellent recovery in the range for Dimitrova of Bulgaria, shooting clean after dropping 2 on the first shooting stage. She goes into the top 30. And of course, as we watch these athletes who will come through over the course of the next 10-15 minutes or so, their own individual targets and battles, Chad, of course, all aiming to collect points to carry them through the rest of the World Cup.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is just day one of roughly 20, I believe 21 races on the docket for this coming season. And it feels like more than that, but what a great way to start this individual campaign for this Olympic season, with the woman who lives at the essentially at the Olympic venue, winning again here in this spectacular fashion.
Well, that's a nice shot as well that we just saw there. Sonja Leinamo with Suvi Minkkinen alongside her. With, this maiden victory, of course, it's not just crossing the line where it ends, Chad. It's the going and getting everything checked before the ceremony, standing up, of course, on the podium. And to have someone like Suvi Minkkinen, and who only last year was doing it for the first time, to have someone who can be alongside her, knows where to go, knows how to help and advise after the victory, or after the silver medal, and this individual huge victory in terms of personal achievement for Sonja Leinamo, that is so helpful to have within this Finnish team.
Absolutely, and it just helps when you have momentum like they have. It just carries the whole ship. It buoys the whole team up, that it feels like a win for everybody. And I guarantee you, with the result the Finns put up today, that there's going to be a lot of sunshine in dark Ostersund in their hotel room, and at dinner tonight with the Finnish team. Have to go all the way back to Ostersund 2023 for the mass start. Last time that Dorothea Viera won a Biathlon World Cup was the 2022-23 season. So 3 seasons ago on this very track, she won the individual and the mass start.
Yeah, I was just about to say what a weekend it was with that individual win as well as the mass start. All eyes then on what she can do, of course, for the rest of the week. And well, you have to go back even further for the last time that she was in yellow, and that was in December of 2020 after victory in the 15K in Ostersund. So has previous pulling on the yellow jersey, or the yellow bib even, after victories here in Ostersund. And of course I do feel slightly, Chad, as well, as much as we can happily lament for hours and hours of the job of Dorothea Viera, her role as a pioneer as well going forward for the young Italians coming through, Sonja Leinamo as well. Camille Benet, she said at the weekend, podium in an individual race was her goal when she came across the line in third, battling indeed with this woman who's about to come across the line now, Marlene Fichtner. Perfect timing as the German across the line in 59th. Of course, really had to push in the closing stage of that single mixed relay to stick with Camille Benet, and it all came down to the closing speech. The closing stretch, but incredible performance from Camille Benet. It's not easy to go out in the early bibs and have to sit and wait to see if your result will stand.
Well, absolutely, and you come in and you're one of the least experienced athletes on a veteran team that is the best in the world, and you have to come in and try to earn that spot to stay on the World Cup next weekend. They have that extra 7th spot from her winning the IBU Cup last year overall. And she got those 7 spots for France, and then she comes in and almost wins, and then takes the podium and the top spot for the French team. It's just a great mixture of stories today in this women's opening event, and so much to look forward to in the season ahead, where so much is on the line and so much emotion, and a lot of emerging younger athletes around that 23-24 year age group.
Well, that is one of the most exciting globes every year, particularly now they've lowered the age cap, as we see Anna Maka round the corner at 14.5 kilometres. She's pushing for a top 30 finish. She dropped 2 on the last, but a perfect shooting day up until that point. It is one of the most exciting globes, this under 23, and it's where we see these athletes come up from the IBU Cup, come up from the Junior Cup. Of course, as some of the French names that we haven't quite seen that much of today, but have come up from either the Junior Cup or the IBU Cup. This is their opportunity to shine and compete for, of course, another globe that they have really from themselves, these younger athletes.
Absolutely. And anytime you have a chance to, even if you don't do it, if you just have the chance to see that you can, it's amazing what that does for your motivation and training and your focus. And that's how you create better athletes.
So she will just fall outside of a top 25 finish here, Alamaka. It's a very good day in the range. 2 misses coming in the final stage. And of course, we've already well documented over the course of the last 4 days the challenges in the range when it comes to the standing shoot in particular.
Pivot 5 now. This is Noora Kerronen of Finland. Left line in 35th position. Just ahead of Ellard.
If that stands, that will be a second best result for Noora Kerronen.
Ellard of Canada, final of 4 Canadians competitors on the start. Won the World University Games a few years ago in Lake Placid in 10-kilometer sprint. She'll try to keep it 17 for 20. Oh, and she'll drop that last shot. Pushing out of the top, probably outside the top 50 when she gets to the time check there. Still for Rousseau, good experience. Personal best for her, 70th spot, so she's gonna do better than that if she can hang on to the finish line now. Well inside the top 70.
84 of the 103 starters across the line. As Dorothy Vera makes her way through the Italian camp.
This is Elza Bledel of Latvia. In her 12th start in World Cup competition, so just getting her feet wet still. Nice composure through the wind. Holding nice, a nice standing hold. You can see the wind though blowing her around. 4 for 5, that's a solid performance in that windy conditions for Bledel. Chasing the time of American Chloe Levens. And she'll go outside that time. 60th spot for the Latvian. Better than her personal best 74th at this point, so also looking to have her best World Cup finish of her career.
And another look at the intermediate results, and well, what a picture they paint. Dorothea Vera back on top, Sonia Lenemo and Camille Benet in second and third. Lou Jean Monod off the podium, wearing the red bib. Of course, that will now go onto the shoulders of Dorothea Vera, along with the yellow bib too, and Lisa Vitozzi, her Italian compatriot, rounding out the top 10. Well, Chad, when you look at that top 10, and particularly the 4 places after it, which include 3 Norwegians, no Norwegians in the top 10, how disappointing is that for them as a nation?
Oh, it's disappointing for sure, but I think they also know why they're there, why they're not up there, and they'll probably make the adjustments they need to. I mean, the fact that Tandervold, Chikhaida, and Norton all had 3 penalties, they know that they can't compete. Even in the windy conditions, you can't compete if you're not shooting at least 18 or better. So they'll adjust. Sweden probably feeling pretty solid about their performance. The fact that both Uberg sisters missed 3 and were in the top 10, that's a solid performance on the skis for them, and I think that's kind of been the question mark, at least for Elvira. But Hannah has had some slow starts to the seasons, the last couple seasons, and this is a good, at least a confidence-building performance. Even though the 3 misses is probably not good enough to win, it's a good opportunity for Hannah Uberg to realize that her fitness is good. It gives you confidence moving forward that what you've done is working, and that's so important in this Olympic season, as you see. Schulstad there from Norway, celebrating with his Italian counterpart coaches on the 1-2 finish of their athletes. I'm interested to hear what Dorothea Veer has to say.
Well, she's been speaking quite a lot over the course of the last couple of days, of course, with the Italians performing well in the relay.
I mean, think about it. 3 years since her last win, 5 years since wearing the yellow bib. For a lot of people, that's a career. You know, that's 3 in 5 years. At least half a career for most people. It's been a long time since she's been at the top of the sport. She's been at the top, and never. Yeah, go ahead.
Across the line in 60th. Of course, Chad, 60th, always a position where you keep an eye on it.
Yeah, in the sprint that gets you into the pursuit event, but this has no consequence today, as this is just for the World Cup points, as we see. Bib number 94 comes to the line for Bulgaria. That is Maria Zdravkova, and she'll finish her day in the 48th position, the top 50. Solid performance for her. And here is the effort of Shiloh Rousseau of Canada. Born and raised in Elliott Lake, Ontario. Rousseau. Most of the Canadian biathletes you see come from either the Quebec City region area or Canmore, Alberta area. Those are the two big biathlon centers, but Shiloh Rousseau kind of the odd difference to that trend coming from Ontario. She still lives there in Thessalon. It's nice to see her having her best World Cup performance of her career here. There's Margie Freed now coming up to the time check at 13.5 kilometers, trying to stay inside the top 60, as you pointed out. She'll fall just outside the time of her teammate, Chloe Levens, into 60th spot. Margie Freed from the Twin Cities area in Minneapolis, Minnesota, went to school at the University of Vermont, skied for the Catamounts there under Patrick Weaver. Before getting into biathlon. Here is the Latvian now. Pushes Chloe Levens from into 60th, played out into 59th. You kind of see the glazing of the track through the lights in the evening sky. As you get to right around the freezing mark, the tracks tend to glaze a little bit, and it can get a little bit slick and slippery to manage the edge of the ski. But really, this course holding up pretty well. Over 106 competitors skiing 15 kilometers. That's a lot of traffic on that snow, and it's holding up quite well.
And of course, the men's individual to come tomorrow, 20 kilometres. It seems like, if the weather is anything to believe, we'll be sitting around freezing for the whole of the day and dropping into freezing, of course, overnight tonight with lows of around -5, -6 as Rousseau into the stadium and the finishing straight.
It's going to be a personal best by a nice stretch. 70th place. Her previous personal best moves into the 56th spot. So nice jump forward for Shiloh Rousseau.
Yeah, huge jump forward as well, Chad. Looking at her best result in an individual, that was 89th from Ruhpolding last season, so a significant step up when it comes to the 4 shooting stage races.
Margie Freed coming to the line. She has a slightly better personal best of 32nd place. So this will not be a personal best for her, but just working the kinks out into this Olympic season, trying to make her first Olympic team for the U.S. Biathlon. Falls out at the time of Chloe Levens. Levens had a great leg in the mixed relay to keep the United States in it to win it. And they finished 6th in that, a wonderful race 2 days ago for the American team. And then Margie Freed across the line today in 61st.
Well, just looking at the American team, Chad, it does seem like, particularly with the results over the weekend, a new ceiling broken with both, of course, the men's relay performing exceptionally well and then the mixed relay, that spectacular 6th place finish.
Yeah, I think it's a great start to the campaign. It shows you that they're mature enough and talented enough to do some great things if they can kind of pull it together. They had a rough start. Paul Schomer took a rough start on the shooting range with having 2 penalty loops after standing, but they still managed to pull off a 5th off of that. If they clean that up a little bit, then things get really exciting for the American men, and certainly the men's and women's mixed relay. A great performance and a great opportunity for the United States to show their depth between the 2 genders. It's our final starter.
Yep, Jilan Peng, the People's Republic of China, has some really good performances inside the top 15 on 3 occasions. One flower ceremony finish, but that was back in the 2011-2012 season in Hopfilzen. Clean shooting though through the last 2 visits to the range. So just 4 athletes left out on the course. 99 across the line. 103 starters, a handful of non-starters. That included Lena Haki-Gloss, Kulm, and Makarova of Moldova as well.
Sharakasheva now from Kazakhstan, the second to last start in the field. 23 years of age, but 86th start in the World Cup competition. Or no, sorry, 12th start, 86th is her personal best for today. And did 107. Or 101, this is 101. Greta Gaim from Estonia. Took time off from the sport for a few years and now back at it. 32-year-old from Estonia, earning her spot on the Estonian team for this weekend.
gjort jobbet hela vägen. Och där tycker jag att man kan säga att man pratar om att har man anlag.
And across the line in 103rd, all of the athletes, of course, welcomed home by the Swedish crowd who have hung around in the stands. Very passionate fan base. Well, she said on Sunday that she wanted an individual medal. She hasn't had to wait very long for one at all. Just a couple of days later, and Camille Benet is on the podium for the very first time, breaking into the top 10 for the first time, but not hanging around, straight into the podium position. Sonja Leinamo, a new best from her, and new ground broken on plenty of levels for the young Finn, and Dorothea Vera back on top. She takes the gold medal here in Östersund.
She put Maya Klotens in 6th place. I thought she was destined for a podium finish there, but things got pretty hot at the end there with Leinamo and Benet both shooting equal to Klotens and out skiing her by about 30 seconds in the case of Benet, and Leinamo by about 37. But great performance for the Belgian. You have to point her out as well.
You have to say the Belgian team last year, and moving into the start of this season where we saw the performances of Lotte Lee, their shooting, Chad, has really gone to the next level.
Absolutely, I think everything has. I mean, the skiing as well. I mean, you can't get 8th in the World Cup and have shoddy skiing. You see Lotte Lee with 3 penalties sitting in 18th. That is a solid ski and shooting performance. But you're right, Ellen. You have to be competitive on the shooting range to get into the top 10. You have to do something special. And Maya Klotens did that today. She hit 19 for 20 on an exceptionally hard day to hit any targets.
Well, of course, the yellow bib, Franziska Preuss, falling outside of the top 20. Chad, no doubt her hunger to be back competing for top spots will continue into the sprint, of course, which is up next for these women.
Yeah, I don't see her getting too discouraged, Preuss. I think that she is. She realized what today was. She went out with a very solid first shooting stage, and things just kind of got away from her. And she's very good at this stage in her career. She's very good at letting the water drop off her shoulders. I think we'll see her back with plenty of power in the coming days. See the American contingent there. Dieter Irwin finishing 69th. Just recapping the North Americans, Nadia Moser, the top North American with 4 misses for Canada in 42nd. Shayla Rousseau, the second for Canada in 56th. Chloe Levins, 58th for the United States. Margie Freed, 62nd for the U.S. and Dieter Irwin in 69th. That's how your and then Benita Pfeiffer in 80th spot, and Pascal Paradis in 93rd out of the 103 finishers. And that is how the North American contingent did. Looking for the Brits, Shauna Pendry in 87th, and Chloe Dupont came across the line in 101st for the Brits.
On her first start on the World Cup as well for Chloe Dupont. As we take a look at the total score for the women after just one event, and Dorothea Vera back in yellow for the first time since December 2020 after victory in the 15K, coincidentally, and also here in Östersund. Well, you find, Chad, sometimes that athletes just have a real connection to courses, perform well on courses, and plenty of time it's not even their home course that they tend to perform that just level better at.
Yeah, this is certainly a place that Dorothea Vera has had historically a lot of success. I think the way she skis, this is a good course for her. It's a kind of a smooth. It's a course where you can get into a good climbing technique and just kind of follow your rhythm and glide very well. She does that well on the skis. And the range is tough. I think that's the other thing. When you get on a tough range and you're fit and you're Dorothea Viera, you're going to do well in the competition as long as you keep the misses down to a minimum. And she did that, 18 for 20. But again, she finds the time more than just on the shots. She finds the time in the setup time, in the shots taken, in the composure it takes to shoot through the wind. Those are those subtle places that Dorothea Viera took the win, and she had just enough energy to close down the time that the 9 seconds she had in deficit to Lennemo. And that is probably partially experience with that course. You can string together good choices on the corners and the lines you take and where to push and where not to push. That experience that Dorothea Viera, that 9 seconds was an achievable amount that she found a way to find by just 0.3 of a second by the finish. But it was enough to take the win, and that is the sign of a true champion.
Well, holding top spot for quite some time was Camille Benet, her 4th World Cup start, and an excellent step up after winning the IBU Cup last season. And of course, you said it there, 0.3 of a second between Sonja Lennemo and Dorothea Viera, and what a day it was for the Finn. New ground broken, new territory explored, and well, Chad, I think that the best bit is when you saw her come out of the range on that, I think that final time. The fact that she is so strong on the ski, she didn't look out of place at all.
No, she did. She was definitely dying on the end of it, but you have to be. That's what you have to do. You have to hang it out there, and she had done just that. I guarantee you that Sonja Lennemo did not think this was going to happen today when she woke up and had breakfast. But she's a different person now, a different biathlete, and she'll never see herself the same again.
Well, we've had it a few times where there's been some really good early season results for Dorothea Viera. It hasn't always translated onto the World Cup. This time round, it's stuck. And 3 podiums out of 3 and a gold medal. Let's hear from her.
Winning in the World Cup, and 5 years later she will have the yellow bib. Would you ever believe that was possible?
No, for me it's still incredible. For me it was like, well, I never thought that it was possible to be back on the podium, and especially today, because I wasn't sure if I should start, because I woke up a little sick and I didn't sleep the whole night, so I had so many things in my head. So for me it's crazy, but I'm also really happy for my team and for the people who was around me, especially this summer, because it was, I think, one of the hardest summers in all these years, and so I'm really happy.
What were the thoughts tonight and then in the last loop? Because I think there were a lot.
I can't say it, what I was thinking, but it was a lot in my mind, but not about biathlon. Yeah, I was just waking up this morning, so it was a really strange feeling. And so I was just speaking with my coach before the race, and he was just saying to me, concentrate on shooting, because you know that maybe today it will be really tough outside, but do your thing on the shooting range. And I just tried it, and it was working out good, I think.
And in this final loop, when they said like 9 seconds, 6 seconds, 2 seconds?
I wasn't sure because I didn't knew who is it and who was in front, and sorry. And I had so much back pain in the last 2 loops, so I was just trying to concentrate about my technique somehow. I'm skiing really bad, I think, but I was just trying to do it, and that it was, yes, and 0.3, it was good for me.
Definitely was. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, Chad, there's so much to like from that interview with Dorothea Viera. Very candid. She didn't wake up feeling 100%. And, well, sometimes when you take that pressure off yourself, it is when the best results come.
Oh, absolutely. And even physically, sometimes when you are getting sick, some people have great performances as they're getting sick, and then they kind of you have to deal with it. We'll see if she shows up the rest of this weekend on the start order. But she did. You know, she went out there. She threw it against the wall and see if it would stick, and it stuck. And it stuck because she's been good on this course. She loves this venue, And the opportunity of the tough shooting situation was just there for her to take. And I have to say, she is in good shape. She's in better shape than she's been the last few years we've seen at this time of year. There's no doubt about it. She can't cover that up. I'm telling you, she's in better shape than she's been the last 5 years, at least 3 years that we've seen her come to the World Cup opening.
Well, this is the 4th time that Dorothea Vera has won the season opener, previously in 2015, 2019, 2020. And indeed, 5 years on from victory in 2020, she is back in the yellow bib. And of course, will lead to the individual score as well. How does a dynamic change at all now, Chad, that she's wearing the bibs? Does the mentality change?
I think if I was a coach, I'd try not to make a change. I think that it's one thing, you know, with the Olympics in your home venue. If you pick up the points that on the way to that goal, then great. But making it the goal would be a mistake, and I don't think there's any chance of that happening. I think the Italians know their butter is going to be on the bread of Antolz in February for the Olympic medals. You don't go chasing waterfalls for that. You keep your focus on where it needs to go. But again, if she finds herself at the end of the Olympic Games with the World Cup lead or very close to it, it could be a very exciting march for Dorothea Vera. In her last season, she said this is it for her.
Well, it's the dream start, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. For all of us, I think it's really fun to see.
It is indeed. Second in both of the relay races that she stood on the podium for at the weekend, and well, this time it's gold.
If you go back to when the last time she did this process, most of these athletes weren't even competing on the World Cup that she's in the top 6 with. Put that into perspective. Leinamo was not there. Benet certainly wasn't not there. Lou Jean Monod was not there. Hannah Oberg was. But that's about it. It's a whole new group of 6 people that she's walking up there with than the last time she went through this process. It's a different generation.
It is indeed. First podium for Camille Benet. A huge step up, an improvement of 10 positions from her previous best from the sprint in Oslo at the end of last season. 2 medals from a very successful 3 days so far for Camille Benet, who took top spot in the IBU Cup last season. There'll be a real battle to keep her place on the World Cup after Hochfilzen, but Chad, you can't ask for a better start.
No, and it came in the best way, in sort of a surprise fashion. You know, it's not just landing in her lap. She's worked hard, but in context to the timing of everything, it just kind of came together, and it's the best way for it to happen. You're not expecting it, and now you see yourself differently. Same with this young woman.
Absolutely. There's up steps Sonja Leinamo, and that's how much it means, not just for her, but for her country as well. Fighting all the way to the line. Just 0.3 of a second in it, 0.3 of a second. The smallest of margins separating her and Dorothea Vera. And what a day it is. You cannot ask for much more. She could hardly believe it as she came across the line and was embraced immediately by Suvi Minkkinen. Welcome to the podium, Sonja Leinamo. What a way to kick off the 25-26 season. A new best for her as well. And back to well-trodden ground for Dorothea Vera. The first time since 2023 that she stood atop the podium, but the venue, of course, is the same here in Ostersund. And starting off an Olympic season in a spectacular fashion, and one that she hopes can continue all the way through February and potentially beyond.
That last loop, if there's any question, if she had any, if she was still a competitor, if she had any competitor in her left, I think that last loop answered it in spades. She is a competitor through and through.
But she has fun as well, and that's one of the reasons why she is so loved, not just in Italy, around Europe and around the world. Dorothea Viera takes top spots here in the individual in Östersund as the new season begins in earnest and begins in style. Not to be today for Lou Jean-Minot, whose name is chanted from the stands. Great battle between her and Hannah Erberg through the closing stages of the races as they battled out for what they hoped would have been a podium position. Maya Klottens hoped that she would have done enough. But a new personal best for her, her previous best 8th in Lenzerheide in the sprint, and a real step up in terms of the 4 shooting stage races. She's in her first flower ceremony. And so the first flower ceremony of the 25-26 season complete. And over for the presentation of the yellow bib. Dorothea Viera will pull it on for the first time in 5 years, and of course in the interview there we heard just how much it means to her. It's been a long wait. Plenty have questioned her ability to get back to the top in the year that she needs the form, the strength, the resilient most. It has shone through in the opening weekend and beyond. The total score leader as we kickstart the 25-26 season, Dorothea Viera.
She seems stunned.
Well, for someone who's stood in that position so many times, you are always surprised when she looks surprised. But of course, a battle all the way to the very end with Sonja Lennemo. A huge result today. And well, we will be back tomorrow, all kicking off at the same time with the men's 20-kilometre individual at 3:30 Central European time. And after the drama today, we do hope that you're able to join us here on Eurovision Sport.